What is your name and where are you from?
I'm Jason Monforden. I live in Denver, Colorado.
Awesome. How did you originally hear about my lessons?
I was searching for a way to learn piano and just Googled easy piano, I think, through Google, and your website was one of three or four that came up. And when I had investigated a little bit, really gravitated towards your program.
Awesome. What do you like most about learning from my method?
Um, to be honest, and as bad as this sounds, I enjoy not having to read music. I've
Don't feel
never
bad.
done that, was never taught, and the way you present it visually, I'm a very visual learner. So the way
Yeah.
you present it visually, and then with your description verbally, but as you also play it, helps me a ton. I just that just I don't think I would go anywhere else. It just makes sense to me.
Excellent. Don't feel bad because you didn't want to read music. People are surprised when I tell them this. I was a terrible note reader growing up, and I'm still not that great. For my level of playing, I should be able to sight read anything put in front of me, but I can't. I can still learn it, but it's just never been something that's good for me. So that was easy for me. So I understand
Yeah.
the pain everybody's going through. What makes my method different from other online piano lessons?
Well, I haven't tried too many, but the others I've tried do tend to head towards what I would call that classical piano education, where they do encourage a lot of the repetitious exercises, which are great. It's one of the other things I have. I have a lot of dislocated fingers from sports, and
Mhm.
doing things over and over again then takes the joy out of it for me. Like,
Yeah.
I would rather be doing over and over again the songs that I like, because I have just so many. Um, I'll call pain-free moments with my fingers. So
Yeah.
I tend to like getting to it and not. I understand there's a value to all those exercises, but if I was 20 and didn't have a family and didn't have a job and had nothing but a professional career, that'd be great. But I don't have all that time, so I kind of like just getting into it and plunking away. And
Sure.
I
Because
don't
you're
I don't mind playing a song at first, slowly, whatever. That actually, I enjoy that aspect of it. I don't mind practice. I just
sure.
like to feel like there's a purpose.
Yeah, because music is an outlet for you. It's something for recreation. You
Yeah,
get enough work. You got enough
exactly.
work already. Don't give me any more
Yeah,
work.
exactly.
Want something that I want to enjoy. Excellent. Thank you. You have a great attitude about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with my lessons?
I have been 10. I've been over the moon with them. I think um, I've enjoyed every one I've watched and rewatched and rewatched. So really like what you do and how you do it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Would you recommend my lessons to a family member or a friend? And if so, why?
I would recommend them to anyone who would, but especially a family member if they said they were interested in playing an instrument, especially piano. Obviously, that's what I've seen from you. Um, I think your method is fun, and I think it's um, effective, especially for people that just don't have that training. And most of the people I know who can play, and those who don't never touch it because they don't know how and they don't want to start.
Right. You
It's
don't
easy
have
to
to,
pick up.
yeah, basketball terms, you don't have to be Michael Jordan to enjoy it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not. I don't coach because I see 15 athletes a year go to Division One. I coach because there's a bunch of girls that want something to do, and they need a coach to help them achieve
Excellent.
some level of
Oh,
competency and have some fun
interesting.
with it.
So coaching girls is a lot different than boys, right?
I used to coach boys. I coached boys for a long time, and that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But my daughter was
Uh,
an athlete, and she liked basketball and softball. So I got into softball and helped coach her teams, but was never a head coach there. But basketball, I coached her, and then got hooked up with the high school when they said, "Well, that's great, but we need a sophomore coach." And I said, "Great, I'm in. My daughter's in the program. Let me do it."
Excellent. Do
So
anything for our kids.
yeah,
I heard
right,
one
yeah.
person.
But I actually really enjoy coaching girls. It reminds me a little of 30 years ago boys basketball, where it wasn't quite so much ESPN cuts. It was more trying
Yes,
to
I've
learn how to
noticed
play
that.
and work together.
Excellent. I heard one person say this, and I imagine it's true, but you can tell me since you're an expert on this. He said with boys, they have to do good to feel good about themselves. With girls, they have to feel good about themselves, then they can do good. Do you
I
agree with
think
that at all?
that's I think there's a lot to be said for the bulk of the kids that way. Yeah, I think that's and it does totally change the approach for sure. Yeah, you have to. Um, yeah, boys like to see the results or practice on the results first, and
Yeah,
then you can try to get them to learn the fundamentals. Girls tend to like to build that fundamental basis and then go demonstrate.
yeah. And man,
I
I
think
think
that
you're right
that's
about the way the game has changed. I go back and I see, it just seemed like it was more fun when I was a kid. And I go back and I look at the Celtics in the '80s, and it's
yeah.
just it was different. It was more fun. I don't know what the reason is, but it was more fun back then.
In I find in pickup games, it has changed dramatically in 30 years when, yeah, the game evolves, but when you're professionals, you're still so good at it. They make whatever they want work. But
Yeah,
the approach of a pickup game now is so different than what it was 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago when I was in college.
neat.
I'm not going to say completely worse, but it has been a real adjustment for me.
Yeah, so if you ever are in the Waco area, I want to invite you. Look me up. We'll get a cup of coffee. You come in
Oh,
the
okay.
studio. We can talk music and basketball or something. My wife would love to talk basketball. So who are we going for in March Madness?
Oh, well, I am a huge Gonzaga fan. My most of
Okay.
my family ends
Oh,
up
you got
going
it
to
on.
Gonzaga.
Okay.
I did not,
Yes.
but
Excellent.
and then I went to Montana State, so I always root for them. But they're not quite a national powerhouse, so we don't get
Okay.
to root for them as in the tournament much.
We love
But
Drew Timmy,
definitely
man.
a Gonzaga
We
basketball fan.
just anytime Drew Timmy, anything about him, we just couldn't get enough of it. What's he doing now?
Right? Yeah, he's been playing for the Milwaukee Bucks,
Oh, okay. So he did go
kind of
pro.
in and
Okay.
out. Yeah, he did go pro. He made he did summer league with them, did really well. Then he's been in their minor league system and done pretty well. He's one of those guys that just I think if someone had the right offense, he'd be really good. But the
Yeah.
professional game is one
Right.
now that you've got to be a great outside shooter or you've got to be a supreme athlete to dominate the ball, and that's not necessarily him.
Yeah.
Although I think he could find a way to be productive in the NBA, but I don't know if they'll give him a fair chance. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's some way he's so marketable. He's so likable. He
Yeah,
could do something
right.
with a camp or something and just start. I don't know. I just feel like he could really do something with the game with the kids. But I feel like you're in the trenches, man. You're coaching kids. There's nothing more valuable than that to me. So I admire you for that. And I'm
Oh,
running
I
out of
appreciate it. I
time
really
here.
enjoy it. I do it. It's more fun for me than people understand. I get a lot of thank yous from parents, but
Yeah,
I thank them. It's a I don't have to do it. It's just fun.
I get it. I live with a coach and I get to hear all the stories and it's just I mean you coaches really care, and I'm thrilled to be talking to you today. Well, thank you for doing this. My son's going to send you
Oh yeah,
an
easy.
email with a Google link, and if you wouldn't mind just clicking that, write me a quick review. That'll help me go up in the search engine and help my business a little bit. And Jason, if there's anything I can do for you, if you ever get stuck on a song and you need like to get unstuck, you can send me a little video, a clip, or something, or say, "Hey, man, what's going on this measure?" Happy to help you with that.
Well, yeah, I'd love to take you up on that at some point. My goal, I've been doing this and learning how to plunk away, but I also do have a goal to I've kind of started the concept of a song not to do anything with, but for myself and help
Oh
process a
wow,
few moments in my life. But someday I would, when I get far enough to know what questions to ask,
yes.
I may have you look it over and make some suggestions. Hey,
So are
you're
you
okay.
saying that you
Sorry,
actually
my
you wrote
dog.
something?
We have
Oh,
someone working on the furnace.
yeah. Are you saying that you had someone that you've written something? Is that what you're saying? You've written a song or
Okay,
part of one?
1 second. Hey, hey, no, you're okay. Just be quiet. You're fine. Mom, fine. Hey, everybody's fine. Sorry. Yeah, so I've been kind of, I guess I'll call it trying to write something that
Wonderful. I would
before I
love
knew
to help
anything
you with
was in
that.
the back of
I don't want
my
to get
mind.
cut off.
And
Zoom's going to cut me off in a minute, Jason, because I don't have the free
okay,
version. But I would love to help you with that. In fact, I'm going to start, songwriting workshops is something I want to do in the future, but I would love to
Oh,
help
that'd be
you
great.
with that song because I used to do that for a living, and that'd be fun to help you with that. So keep me in mind, and a couple weeks, couple months down the road, send me another email and say, hey, would you help me with this? You can do a video of it, or you can do a recording of it. Just send me something that I can listen to it, and I'll help you maybe flesh it out.
Oh, that would be
We can do it.
awesome. I would love that.
All right, great, Jason. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Hal, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, not a problem. I've really appreciated the way you go about with your, I guess, your piano lessons.
Uh huh.
I don't have any musical background, and it's a struggle to try to read notes and do those things on my own. But I kind of get your approach.
Hey, well, Jason, all of us start at zero somewhere, and so we all come up at some point. And there's a lot of people who are on the site that are very successful today. That feel at one time felt like you do, where I have no musical experience, and then you get some after a while, and then you're off to the races. But I've always felt like it's not too late. If you don't do it when you're a kid, you can start as an adult. You can start as an old man if you're an old man. Um,
Guilty. Yeah. No.
so how long have you been with me?
um, a couple of years now. Yeah, it was kind of the end of COVID that I felt like I needed something non physically taxing to do. I coach basketball and play a lot of basketball and do
Okay.
sports, but I'm getting too old now to really go for it at the level I would wish that I could. So I
Uh-huh.
was looking for something else to occupy my time and be a little creative about. Um, and piano seemed like something I'd always wanted to do, but never had the discipline and time growing up to really get into it.
So you never had lessons as a kid, traditional lessons of any type? Did you ever play around with a piano or a guitar or anything?
Not a little. I don't know if playing around. I always had a fascination with it and always wished I could. I guess that's what I would say. I don't
Okay.
never did it growing up. It just wasn't in, and for lots of great reasons. My dad was a school teacher, so we had all summer. We'd go hiking up in northern Montana where I grew up, and we'd
Oh
camp
man,
and we'd fish.
beautiful.
And yeah, we were never inside if we could help it. And in the winters, I played basketball, so it just never seemed like a good time to do it. And when you're 12, you don't always appreciate sitting at a piano and plunking out scales every day for hours. That didn't seem like fun to me, so I just never did it.
Yeah, sure. And that's kind of a misnomer. People think that and they don't do this on guitar. Guitar players have figured it out, but on piano, it seems like, they push. You got to learn scales, you got to learn chords, you got to learn arpeggios to be able to play. And that's just absolutely not true. Now, those things help, and there's degrees that you can do them. You don't have to play, scales 4 octaves, both hands, every scale in the world
Right.
to benefit from it. But it's actually absolutely not necessary to do all those things to be able to play. So this is interesting because the last guy I just interviewed this morning, he has a classical background. So he plays classical music, but he also plays Elton John and Billy Joel. So he reads music. So he comes from that area. He's actually had lessons and everything. And then you kind of come from the opposite direction, which I have a lot of members who have no musical background. They just want to
Yeah.
jump in and start playing, and they don't necessarily want to go because it's hard to learn to read music. It takes years. It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with musical talent at all either. Just learning the skill of reading music is very taxing, very hard, takes a long time, and then you hope to one day play the songs you want to play. When you don't have to go that route if you don't want to. I mean, it's okay, but if guys like you just want to play the fun music, you want to just jump in and start playing, you can do that. There's just not a lot of options for you. So when
Exactly.
you
Yeah. I think right before I joined your program, I was trying to decipher out on my own a song from by Journey, and being able to play that on piano was something I always wanted to be able to do. So I was I'm an engineer, so kind of
uh-huh.
meticulously
Yeah.
diagramming out, okay, well, that symbol means this key, and just working my way down, and it just took forever. And I thought, God, there's got to be a better way, which is where I did a search of, you know,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if the term was easier piano or learning
Easy,
an easier way
easy
to play
piano
piano.
lessons is
And
what I
that's,
hit back then. Yeah, easy piano lessons was my keywords.
yeah, that's where you came up on my search. Yeah, exactly.
So your
So,
Journey song was what was the, what? Do you remember what the song was?
oh, yeah, faithfully. I
Okay,
always wanted to be able to play that on piano. That was what I want to start with. Probably a little more advanced than I should have, but I didn't know any better at the time.
yeah,
So, but
it
now
was great.
I like to go through and look at what you've kind of transcribed into your version and pick a
So
song every once in a while
I
and
want to
start plunking
compliment you a
away.
little bit here because that's the first song you did, right? Faithfully.
Yeah.
And that's not a beginner level song. And for you to be able to jump in at the beginning and then play it at any, level is pretty amazing. It really is. If you got sheet music for it and you looked at it, you'd probably blow your mind just looking at it because there's sharps
It was
everywhere and the
complicated. Yeah.
complicated rhythms and everything. And when the guy's playing it, who wrote the song, he's not reading sheet music. He's
Right.
playing from feel and from memory and how he knows it. So I kind of go at it from that way, kind of
Yeah.
show you what
Exactly.
maybe is going through the guy's mind who's playing it instead of writing out music notation. But that's a pretty big deal for you to jump in on that one. That's pretty cool. But Journey is one that a lot of people love to jump into. Another one is Don't Stop Believing is one
Yep.
everybody
I've been working on
does.
that one.
Yeah, that one is also one that's not too terribly difficult. Yeah, and then of course Open Arms is another one, and then what's that other one everybody does? Separate Ways. You know
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yep. Yep. You're nailing them all.
Yeah, so they're a good one to start with, but that's pretty amazing that you just jumped in. You said you have an engineer's mind, so the tablature system that I wrote really works for you. When you looked at it, it just
Yeah.
clicked.
It does. And yeah, I kind of get when you transcribe it into letters, that part I see, I can translate that faster to where my hand goes than I can
Yeah,
seeing a note on page, thinking about it, having to sit there and go, what the hell did that mean? And again, I'm not going to be a concert pianist.
sure, and
That's
you're
not
not
my
trying to
goal.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my goal because I play songs I'm familiar with. So once I know kind of the fingering and see you demonstrate it, and then I can kind of find my rhythm to it
Yeah.
over time.
And I'm
Um,
finding, Jason, that guys like you who intelligent problem thinkers, think outside the box type of people, real creative types, have problems with the music notation a lot of times for whatever reason
yeah,
that is. And then the way I do it is just kind of it's not better or worse. It's just different.
it's
And
just
for some
different.
people,
Yeah,
it just clicks. It just works for them. Then I'll find those people who are avid music readers, and they don't want to even give it a chance. They don't even they will write it in music notation, or I don't want to do it. But then I'll have people who read very well, and they like doing it the way I have it laid out. But it's just I don't know how the brain works, but for some people, it just clicks for them, and I keep hearing that over and over again. And that's actually why I invented it in the first place. I don't know, in my 30s or something like that. And I had some piano studio, 50 students a week, kept, doing the same thing with the books and having everybody do the classical method because that's all you can find if you use books for it. And that's what everybody uses. And had some kids and adults who were very talented, just wanted to play. But they hated having to learn to read music. They hated the books and everything. And I did too. Who wants to play Row, Row, Row Your Boat 50 times when they could play a Journey song. So
yeah,
I just kind of
exactly.
scrapped everything. I said, you know what? They're going to quit anyway. And I need to keep my paychecks coming for lessons. That was another reason. But I decided, you know what? They want to play fun songs. So I think I can just go right to those fun songs and write it in the way that they can understand it. And my first question was, what do you want to play? And they couldn't believe it. You're asking me what I want to play? I was like, yeah, this is the way it should be. What songs do you want to learn to play? As a teacher, if it's too hard, you got to be able to say, well, maybe not yet on that one. But I asked them what they wanted to play, and then right there in their lesson, I just listened and wrote out, and immediately it worked. So I kept doing it, and it ended up where the majority of the students I had were learning that way instead of the music reading way, traditional notation. So glad to hear that that's working for you. So what are you learning now? So I know you learned the Journey song. What else have you done?
Well, to be honest, I took a break this last 4 months. My daughter's in college. My youngest is about to go to college, and my oldest is in college. So we took the summer, and I didn't do anything because for me it's been kind of something to do on my own up in my
Uh huh.
little room to get a break from work. But I just took the summer off from everything like that and just spent it with the kids. So I haven't been working on anything this summer, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it here as the weather starts to turn a little cooler and
Okay.
um, do a little more. So I would say I haven't worked on anything this summer, but yeah, let's see, a couple Journey songs. I think you put one up by Kansas, Dust in the Wind.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, I like that
Guitar
one.
song. Another one you might check out is Wayward Son. That's also fun too.
Yeah. That's on my list. Definitely, that is on my list. So just about anything that catches my eye or brings up a happy memory from 30 years ago. God,
Oh
we're
yeah.
both probably
Isn't
about
that
the same
funny?
age. You
Music
know,
can take you back, I mean, immediately to where you were,
yeah,
I'm 16 driving home
yeah,
from
exactly,
from
right.
uh, football practice or something, it's neat. That can immediately take you back. And we all have those times where we got to take a break because, family always is great if family's getting in the way of our hobbies, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
Family comes
right,
first.
exactly. It
And
was a
so we
good
have
summer.
to,
I can't complain.
not feel guilty and just say, hey, I'm just going to get back on it when I can, because music should be serving you, not the other way around. And I love that the attitude you have about that, because a lot of people will get down on themselves and feel guilty and say, you know what, I don't deserve to play. I'm not going to be consistent, whatever. I'm not going to, but it'll come back to you. You'll find if you learned it, if you learned it well at all, it'll come back to you. It's in that brain somewhere, and it'll come back. And
Yeah.
yeah,
When I start plunking away again, it tends to come back. Well, that was part of the reason why I became a lifetime member with you. Is I again, the engineer in me always debates the financial analysis of, well, if I'm not using this summer, why
yeah,
am I keeping the membership? And I thought, I'm
right,
just going to put that to bed. I'm just going to
yeah.
have it
Good. Well,
there when I need it and not feel guilty about whatever.
I'm glad you're a lifetime member, and you know, I uh, I love talking to you guys. I thought these testimonials would be a little bit overwhelming because I've never, in 18 years, I haven't had ever worked on the business side of it. I'm a artist, and we tend to
Yeah.
not care about those sort of things. And I had a business guy look at me and said, if you actually worked on the business part, you might do really, really well on it. So I got with some business coaches, and one of their things with testimonials. And
Yeah.
yeah, I thought I would be overwhelmed with it, but I'm actually having a great time meeting all you guys. It's so fun. Everybody says they feel like they know me, and my response to that is, you do. I mean, I'm a simple guy, family guy. I love God, love going to church, love my family, love playing music, love doing lessons for people. That's pretty much it. And it's fun
Yeah.
to get to know you guys finally. So, Jason, if you had like top three songs that you'd want to learn, like you say, well, maybe I'm not good enough yet, but one day I'd love to learn these three, what would they be?
Ooh. I would like to get to faithfully where I can play it, the full way through from memory. There are times when I've gotten to the point where I'm almost there, and coaching basketball or something comes up, and I feel like I have to kind of relearn some stuff. So I'd like to get that down finally. I feel like when I actually put progress toward or put some effort into it, it goes pretty well. Um, Don't Stop Believing. Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's one I would like to have that I
excellent.
could just plunk out at a piano if I
Uh-huh.
was somewhere.
That one's a hit,
Um,
Jason. If you ever need if the crowd's ever dead, just go into that one. I don't know what it is. That one people just
yeah, it just
go
always, yeah,
nuts.
exactly. It always puts a smile on my face. And the couple times I've been somewhere and put out the first few verses, people are always like, "Oh my gosh, you know the rest." And I'm working on
Hey,
it.
Jason, do you sing when you play ever? Do you sing along while you're playing?
I I am not comfortable with that. I don't think I could
Uh-huh.
carry a tune in a bucket. Someday I may
Yeah.
go take a lesson or two and find out. But at this point, I'm mostly a hummer
Well, let
and
me
let
ask you
other
this. Have
people.
you ever gone to a church service and you sang along with everyone as they were singing a hymn or something?
Yeah,
You're able to do that.
sure.
Okay, then you're good enough to sing when you play. I'm just going to say that. A lot of people don't
I
sing
appreciate
because
you
they
saying that.
feel,
That might take some time for me to process that. That doesn't feel comfortable on my own.
yeah, a lot of people feel that way. They really do. In fact, I felt that way for many years too. And my advice is, well, first of all, it's really, really fun to sing, even if you're not the best singer. It's really fun to sing while you play. And wait till no one's in the house and then just start playing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
trying it out. And if you can get comfortable with yourself then it's really fun thing to do. I don't want to press you to do that, but it's really fun. As your teacher, if I were, and I am your teacher, I would encourage you to start doing that just for yourself, even if you never ever sing for anybody else. Play Journey and Highway Run, sing it
Yeah,
while you're
I
doing
think
it.
that's one of my goals, to work on that a little bit. My my wife works a few days a week,
Yeah.
and with the kids all off in school, there will be a few times a week here
Yes.
this fall and winter to try it out on my own and not have too much self-consciousness. But
It's fun.
that yeah,
Yeah. So
that's going to be where it's. I don't think it's real pretty,
you're a big
but we'll see.
basketball guy, huh? I'm just mentioning that because
Yeah,
my family's real into I'm not a big. I was okay in school, but my wife is she could have been a professional athlete if she wanted to be. And my sons are real athletic. One of my sons running track for Baylor.
wow.
And they're
Okay,
really
yeah,
athletic
legit.
people, real into basketball. I mean, you cannot do anything around here that's not a competition. I mean, we can go try to lounge in a swimming pool, but they can't do it. They've got a race. There's all you're laughing. Probably
Yeah,
that's probably how you are, and it's just funny. But my family's like that. They're big into basketball, big into technique and learning and fundamentals, and just really getting into it all
yeah.
the way. And so that's neat to hear you say that you're into that because they are. I'm not so much, but I like watching them do it. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I grew up playing in, northwestern Montana where the winters are cold.
uh
There's indoor sport, you do it. My dad was a basketball coach, and I like coaching kids now that I'm a little too old to really run up and down
yeah.
the court. I go slow with uh, once in a while, but I can't run with the young kids. But yeah, what you say is so funny. We were somewhere this summer, and there was a pool, and it didn't take long, 5 minutes to degrade into each one of my kids having a challenge for dad. Can you keep up with us? So yeah, absolutely.
That is neat. Yeah,
But
it's that competitive
yeah,
spirit.
we had to have races and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of
I got
funny
to
to
tell
say
you
that.
one more little story, and because
Oh
this is
sure.
my piano, but one more little story. My wife, it all comes from her. She's a competitive spirit. She's wonderful. She loves, she's very loving and kind and everything. But our firstborn's growing up, and they're playing a game, Monopoly, and it's the kid's Monopoly, and she's just winning every time, and he gets mad. He just throws stuff. He's only like 4 or something, and I said, "Babe, why don't you let him win one once in a while?" And she's like, a light came on, and she's like, "It never occurred to me to let him win." That didn't register that you could let the kid win, once in a while. I understand, making him work for it and all that, but let him win once.
I
They played 10 times and he didn't win once.
I catch myself the same way. I'm very much a, well, they'll get good enough or they won't, but they got to win. It means more if they beat
Yeah,
me.
right.
But now that they're 17 and up, but I'm finding that there are more and more things I'm having to struggle to
Yeah.
keep up with them on.
Well, Jason, your testimony is very valuable to me. One, because I really like you. I think you're a great guy, but also that you're a complete beginner. You didn't have to have prior experience. A lot of people feel
Yeah.
like, oh, I got to learn all this stuff. Then I can go sign up. But you can come as you are, right? So
Yeah.
you're doing fine with that background, right?
Yeah. I think I have, in that time period, I looked into just other teaching methods. They'll give you little samples and like you can get online and see how you approach it. And it just appealed to me. The minute I saw it, I was like, ooh, I think this makes some sense to me. And yeah, with zero musical training. And again, I wish I have brothers who are very musically inclined and they
Oh,
did it growing up and play and sing, and
hmm,
that just was never me. And so it's been a fun thing to try to kind of
yeah.
learn a skill that I've always wanted and wished I
Maybe it
had.
will be
And now
you.
that I'm
Maybe
older,
it will
really.
be you. Or maybe it is you. You're playing, so you're doing it. And the other thing I wanted to ask is when you look at the library of music, because I've been doing this for 18 years online, longer than that, just teaching privately, but 18 years online. And every song lesson, when you click the song library, everything has been a hired request from members. They want to learn
Yeah,
this, they hire me. So everything on there is stuff that they chose to be on there. When you look at the library, is it everything you need? You feel like you have
I think
enough on
it's
there?
yeah. I have. been very pleased with the library. It's so much I can't keep up, obviously, but someday I hope, I think with my, you know, the program as I joined with the lifetime membership, I have a few requests, one or two requests that I can make of you, and I've just been saving it up till I get
Okay.
a little more proficient in a few things, and then try to pick something that I know would be the right skill level.
Yeah.
Because I'm still kind of deciphering that out. Because sometimes I feel like I get something that may be a little more complicated for how much time I've put in, and sometimes simpler things take me a little longer. So I think the library's been great. There's a lot of choices. I will admit it, I'm too old to care anymore. I'm an 80s pop kid. And
See.
that's translated probably across every decade. I like popular music. I guess it's popular for a reason, but
Yeah.
I tend to enjoy that. So you have a wide variety there. I don't think
Isn't that neat?
I
Isn't
felt
that
more
neat, Jason?
overwhelmed with how many choices there are than anything.
Isn't that neat, Jason? How that works? That music that when we're a kid that just sticks with us for some reason
Yeah.
that it's just kind of
Yep.
frozen in time. It's like your friends from high school or your friends from life. For life, whether you can meet them 30 years later and you just pick up right where you left off. The music seems to be the same way. It's that way for me too. That 80s, the 80s, man, maybe just barely early 90s too, is
Yeah.
just ingrained in me. Love it. Well, I'm going
Yep.
to ask you a few questions here. You may feel like you are repeating yourself, but it's for my
Yeah, no worries.
videographers because they're going to arrange, the testimony in a certain way to help me out with this. And after we do these questions, I'm going to send you an email that's going to have a Google link in it, and it's for a Google review. And that will probably actually help me even more than the testimonial. It helps my SEO, search engine
Oh, sure.
optimization, if I have Google reviews. So if you just take just a minute to fill that out, won't take very long. But let me
Yeah,
ask you
not
some
a problem.
questions here.